Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Coded Black, Season 3. I'm your host, Commotion. Today we have Thelma Cheeks, the greatest realtor in the world. How you doing today, Queen?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Appreciate you coming on the show today.
For sure.
Yeah,
Sure. I'm excited about it.
Let's jump right into it. Who is Thelma Cheeks? How would you define yourself?
Okay. So I am a Black woman, allowing God to use me to assist people to help them with buying back the block and gaining purchasing power. I use all of my talents to do this. I have a background in entrepreneurship. I love people and I love helping people. So I'm a mother. I'm a yaya, which means grandmother in Greek. And I'm a daughter, newly divorcee, and just super excited. Super excited about life right now.
That's what's up. I'm loving the energy.
Yes.
That's dope. Where are you from?
You tell me.
The D. And then what they call it, the D.
No, I'm from Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Michigan.
See, everybody when they say, every time I hear Michigan, I be thinking about Detroit, and I guess that's
You are not alone.
Stereotypical.
It is very stereotypical. People think Detroit is a whole state. They think Detroit is the whole state of Michigan. So you got the glove state, okay? Detroit is over here. We over here. I'm actually from Muskegon, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes away from Grand Rapids. But I lived in Muskegon for 16 years and then got married and moved to Grand Rapids, which is about 45 minutes away. So that is where I'm from. I've been in Atlanta here now for almost 7 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what's up. So she's not from Detroit. She's from Muskegon. Which is 45 minutes from Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids, correct.
Okay.
On the west side of the state.
On the west side. Okay, that's where I'm from. I'm from the west side of Atlanta. So we got this little connection right here.
Yes.
Okay, so would you say Muskegon influenced you to get into real estate?
No.
No?
No. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's see, how can I break this down? So first of all, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur by trade. Been doing entrepreneurship work for well over 20 years. I started off in the hair industry. So I used to be a cosmetologist. Still am by trade. I'm licensed in Michigan and Georgia, right? So still go to Michigan periodically to do clients every now and again. But right now, I'm trying to focus solely on real estate. And I got into real estate just from the transition of moving from Michigan to Georgia. We had a house in Michigan. I owned a home in Michigan. My mother owned a home. My mother-in-law owned a home. They actually are landlords. They have rental properties as well. So home ownership is something that I've always seen, always desired. I bought my first property at 21. Yeah, so I've been a homeowner for a while. So when I came to Georgia, I knew instantly that I wanted to own property. But because of my job, being self-employed, being from Michigan, I really didn't have that job stability here in Georgia yet. And we'll talk more about that as we proceed. But when you're trying to purchase a home, you do have to have consistent job history. And it needs to be local to where you actually live. And so I had reached out to an agent that I knew that came highly recommended from a friend of mine. And she, in short, told me I wasn't ready. And she kind of dropped the ball. And this is no shade to her. She actually helped me for sure. She kind of dropped the ball as far as nurturing me and getting me prepared for home ownership. Like, I already knew what it was. Like, we still owned our home back in Michigan. However, my kids were going to college and they utilized that house. And that's where I went when I went back and forth to do hair. So I stayed there. So we kept that house, but we wanted to buy an additional property. And so once she dropped the ball or, told me I wasn't ready, it intrigued me to get more prepared and figure out a way. Entrepreneurs can buy a property or people that have just recently relocated can buy a property. And I just got engulfed in the idea. And so I ended up going to school where that young lady went and got her license where she actually worked and whatnot. And so that's that. That's what got me into it.
That's interesting. That is a list of things, and I think that's how life goes a lot. Anyway, you know, you kind of fall into stuff.
Yep.
You know, I like to call it intentional flow.
Yep.
So that's what's up. Okay.
Yep.
So, with you being in the real estate market right now, you being an experienced realtor, what is your general analysis of the market right now?
That's a loaded question. But I do want to go a little bit deeper. I'm not just a realtor. I'm not just a real estate agent. I'm actually a broker now. So I don't know if people know the difference, but the difference between a regular real estate agent and a realtor is, I like to put it in perspective as like having your college degree. So you got your regular high school diploma versus having like a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. So I actually have a master's degree, formal education as well, right? In global business. But with real estate, you can get your license and just become a regular real estate agent. Or you can become a realtor. And what that means is basically you're part of the National Association of Realtors, and they kind of put a higher standard of code of ethics on you, and they make sure that you carry your business, on the next level, top tier type of, business plan and whatnot. And they actually protect you. They offer a lot of different classes and courses to make sure that you're knowledgeable about what's going on, and they also make sure that you're protecting the people that you're servicing. So I'm a realtor. And I also just got my broker's license as well a few weeks ago. So,
congratulations! Yes, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay.
So with the broker's license, you can actually own your own brokerage and not have to work under a brokerage. So I tend to work under a brokerage right now. I'm not ready to step out on my own. I do have my own company, Cheeks Real Estate Group, LLC. So I operate under that, but I'm powered by Dalton Realty & Co. And I work as an associate broker with them. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's what's up. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay, man, I got a lot of questions. I ain't gonna lie right now. Cody Black, we've never had a realtor, a real estate agent, a broker on the channel, on the show. So this is dope.
Exciting.
I got a lot of questions.
Let's go.
I want to talk about the first steps in the home buying process. Like, I know it's different across the board depending on the state and things like that. What do they call it? Taxes and things, property taxes and things like that. But I guess from a general standpoint, what are the first steps that somebody should take as a first-time home buyer?
Okay. So that is a loaded question. I did not answer the overall market analysis question that you asked me about. So I want to kind of tie both of those in. So right now, the market is great for buyers. I'm just going to push that. You will hear me say that all the time. The market is great for buyers. The market is great for sellers. It is a complicated market right now because I feel like you really have to be intentional and be determined to get exactly what it is that you want out of this market. Taxes, what you said, they differ depending on the county. I am licensed in Georgia, like I mentioned earlier, and so my jurisdiction is basically the state of Georgia. So everything changes once you cross state lines. So if I wanted to do business outside of Georgia, I would have to get a license for that particular state or refer the business out, which I do all the time. I refer clients to I refer other agents and clients to Michigan all the time and other states because I like I said, I was in the hair industry for 20 years. So I have friends and colleagues and clients from all over. So we can get paid that way when we refer business out. But I don't step on other states' toes. Like, I don't know Michigan's law when it comes to real estate. I don't profess to know their law when it comes to real estate. So I stay here in Georgia. But the overall market, it is a good market. Like, it's always a good time to buy. Always. It really just depends on your affordability. You know, what you can afford for a mortgage payment. What's your intention? Do you want to be a landlord? Do you want to live in your property? Is it going to be a vacation home? Do you want a condo? Do you want a single family home? Would you prefer to have a townhouse because you don't like yard maintenance? Some females, they're overwhelmed when it comes to doing, yard maintenance. So their first mind is, I want to be in a condo. I want to just pay an HOA fee and have somebody else take care of my yard maintenance, or I just worry about the inside of my particular unit. Okay, that's fine. Until I tell them how much the HOA fee is every month. A lot of people don't realize when you own a townhouse, depending on if it's a condo or a community association or not, or a condo in a high rise or whatnot, you have an HOA fee that is due most likely every month, if not every month, at least quarterly. And that adds up. Mm-hmm. Like you could pay your nephew, your neighbor, your son, or whatever to come cut your grass every 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's like you have to be realistic with your budget. Mm-hmm. So in short, it's so many ways to purchase a property. There's so many opportunities when purchasing a property. So it really just depends on what you want.
You know what? And I think that I like the way you put that, because a lot of times I feel like people, they try to put it on the real estate agent, the broker, or the realtor.
Yeah.
To kind of like, from what I've been told, to kind of like walk them into what they want.
Yeah.
And then they'll be disappointed and stuff like that when that person shows you some properties and stuff. Yeah. It's like, well, this is what you you kind of asked for. You asked for my help.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to when you first purchased your property. You said at 21?
I was 21, yes.
That's beautiful.
We moved in. It's so funny. This is a hilarious story. I will never forget it. We moved in after I had gotten my wisdom teeth pulled out. Like, I was 21. It's probably like the eve or a couple days before my 22nd birthday. And I had to go to the dentist to get my wisdom teeth removed. And at the time, my ex was moving us into the house or whatever, and came and got me. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. We own a house. Yeah. But it was not, it's so crazy. It was not hard. Like, I know you had asked me, you sent me a list of questions, y'all. I got a cheat sheet. I'm not going to lie. I have a cheat sheet. We probably going to get off. But anyways, you asked me, why does it feel so daunting to own a property? It doesn't for me. Like, I'm looking for another investment property as we speak. It's not a daunting experience to me. And I think that all is dependent on your perspective and what you've been around, what you grew up around. Like I said, my mom, my mother-in-law, they both owned. We came from a family home, and this is all about what you can afford. Okay, so, and this is a little off topic, but my grandmother, I'm named after my grandmother. She passed when she was very young, and my aunts and uncles, my mom was left with her home that she owned. She worked hard for, right? And my mom was kind of managing the property, so to speak. So we all lived in this community house, okay? Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a duplex. My uncle lived upstairs, and he was like, he's a drummer, he's in a band, like just an amazing individual. But he always lived upstairs in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And then the rest of the house was for me and my mom and whomever in the family needed to be there. And so I've always known home ownership. Like, I didn't know what renting was.
Wow. That's amazing. So it was like like you said, it was like a duplex for you all. It's like
pretty much.
What do you call it? This is a term I like to use. It's like a
multifamily.
Multifamily. Well, that's probably the real estate term.
Sorry.
But no, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So you said it wasn't daunting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's because you had a partner, or do you think what part do you think that played into it?
That's a great question.
If that ain't too much to ask.
Absolutely not. Like, we're friends. We talk all the time. He'll probably see this sometime or another. Mm-hmm. I'll probably even send it to him.
That's what's up.
But no, and not to get too personal within a relationship, but I feel like in every relationship, there's going to be an individual that's a little bit more future forward. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's always going to be an individual that's more responsible when it comes to the finances, and that just wants more overall. that individual was me, right? So he didn't think about purchasing a property, I don't think, but he did not think about it. You know, he was a hard worker. So I think maybe like the yard maintenance and taking care of the property, the responsibility of the property after we got in there probably felt easier having a partner, you know. But let me just tell you, I would say 75% of my clients have been single. Single men and single women. So you don't have to have a partner or a boyfriend, a girlfriend, be married to own a property. For some reason, especially in our community, I think we feel like we have to be married in order to obtain certain goals. We'll do everything else. We'll go shopping, like we'll go on trips. We will we'll even try to start our own business, doing so many other things and get so far into debt. We'll have one car, two car. We'll have our weekend car and our weekday car. Like we do everything else. But for some reason, people in our community think that we need to be married to purchase a property, and that is so far from the truth. So far from the truth.
You know what? And I like that you said that because I was just thinking that while you was talking. I think we kind of we stigmatize ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Stereotype ourselves.
For sure.
Oh, you got to do this, because of what was told to us. And from what I'm hearing from you, the more information you know, it makes the process easier. You kind of become more confident.
Confident. Yeah, competent and confident. One of the things that I would encourage everybody to do before they even think that they're ready to purchase a house, even if it's like in your far future. Like say, for instance, you're like, okay, in the next 5 years, I want to purchase a house. In the next 2 years, I want to purchase a property. Next year, I want to buy my first investment property. Whatever the goal is, I would encourage you to, for one, find a trusted realtor. I'm biased. I like realtors versus real estate agents, right? It could be me. It don't have to be me, but I would prefer it to be me because I feel like I'm very patient and I understand so many different ways of looking at things. I'm not just one track. I work with all budgets, and that's huge. Like I say, you got to be realistic about that budget. I work with all budgets. If you want to do a small single family property, you want to do a condo first, you want to do a townhouse first, you can afford $250, you can afford $500, you can afford $1 million. I will work with all. But you have to talk to an agent first and just be transparent. Tell them where you are. Tell them, you don't have to get so personal and tell them like, hey, I only make $50,000 a year. I only make $25,000 a year. Can you help me? But 3 questions I will ask every single client before I start working with them. Have you been at your job for at least a year? The same job. And you would think that's an easy question to answer. It gets so complicated. I get so many responses. And it's like, oh God, if you can't answer that one direct,
right.
It's really about to get tough. The second question is, do you know what your credit score is? You don't have to tell me what it is, but do you know what your credit score range is? When's the last time you checked it? Do you have the resources to check it? Do you even have a credit score? The third thing is, have you filed for bankruptcy or had a foreclosure in the past? Those are the 3 top questions that I ask people before I even start working with them. And the other question is, are you working with an agent right now? And I usually ask that first. Are you working with any other agents first? Because I like to have an agreement, an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement between me and my client. And that pretty much just, for lack of better words, weed out the bullshit. You know what I mean? Because if they're already working with somebody else, they're using you for information. They're not gonna work with you, Or if they're not working with somebody else and they got all of these reasons why they don't want to work with the agent, what makes you think they're gonna work with you? I need somebody that's open-minded, like willing and able to move forward. If not with me, with the best match, because there needs to be a personality match. So we're gonna be working together for a minute. Yeah, so
I think that's a great. You know what? It's you touched on something that I definitely stood out to me. What? You said you want them to be open, and I think, like you said, you want to form some agreement. Can you repeat that again? You said,
buyer brokerage agreement.
You want to form a buyer and brokerage agreement, and I think that that's kind of like along the lines of a relationship as well.
Yeah.
Buyer broker relationship, buyer broker agreement.
For sure.
And I think that we kind of look at, I ain't trying to segue into a whole other topic, but we look at relationships as being just intimate. Mm-hmm. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, son, daughter. But anything can be not son, daughter, father, daughter, mother, son, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
But anything can be a relationship. And like you said, that's how you build. I think that's great questions that you ask, because that helps form a relationship. And like you said, it weeds out the bull.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people are uncomfortable with answering certain questions, right? Yeah. And it's fine. I don't make people sign that agreement as soon as we meet one another, right? I have a simple conversation first. I call it a discovery call. That call is literally 15 minutes. I'm not trying to take your whole day. I really can tell within the first 5 minutes if you're going to work with me or not. I literally can. I have a gift of discernment. But at the same time, I also am leaving them with this particular charge. Send me your email address, first and last name if I don't have it already, their email address, and your current mailing address. Now, the mailing address part is not as important as the email and the first and last name, because you will not be surprised. I mean, you would be surprised how many people have so many nicknames and go by this with their government name. So this agreement is literally, it's a contract. It's a binding contract. And it basically outlines the responsibilities of me as your agent, my brokerage, and then you as our client. So we're exclusively working together. We date, we go together. In other words, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
In order for you to get to this goal of purchasing your first property. Now, after we close, you can diss me if you want to. But until we close on this particular property, we go together. When I call you, I need you to answer the phone. When I text you, I need you to respond. You know, when you call me, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to drop everything to answer my phone. You know, I'm offline right now for an hour for this interview. However, my phone stay on me, you know, for business purposes. You might have a question. You might be confused, but that's what happens on my discovery call. Now, towards the end of the call, I tell them, hey, I'm going to introduce you to to my lender. Right. I always encourage people to get 2 lenders at least, right? And you can kind of weigh the lenders against one another. Meaning, if you get a pre-approval for one, say that pre-approval is for $300,000, the interest rate is 6%. I want you to now take that pre-approval and go to the next and see if they will give you a better rate. If they'll either match that rate or give you a better rate, or match that pre-approval or give you a better pre-approval, right? Now, of course, you want to worry about communication, personality as well with that lender.
Right.
Because, like I said, we go together. We got us a nice little relationship. We're a team now. You know what I'm saying? And so you choose between which lender you want to work with. I don't care. They're my preferred lenders if I refer them to you, that lender. But at the same time, you have to have a personality match with them too. Like if you prefer male, I'm going to find you a male lender. I work with male lenders. If you prefer female, I'm going to find you a female. You know, if you're Hispanic and you prefer a Spanish speaking lender, I'm going to find you that. And I have translators. I have translators that can help me get you to the closing table as well. And I can call them up on 3-way. I can translate via my text app. You know, it's so many ways we can communicate. But with those 2 lenders, you're going to get a good idea if you can purchase now, if you got to wait, and who's going to give you the better deal.
The sister knows. She definitely knows her stuff.
I like to get to the closing table, okay?
For sure. I can tell. I feel like I'm about to get a house today.
Yes, I like to get to the closing table. Not just for me, but for my clients as well. And it does not take me long. Like, we work together on other deals, right? On other projects, right? And I meet people everywhere I go. Okay, so I'm going to give you a business card. I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to try to get the need met, right? So I met this lady on my part-time job, and she mentioned that she had a house in another state, And I was like, okay. And she said, but I want to buy here. And she wanted to rent out her other property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you. I already knew what lender I wanted to send her to and everything. Do you know, I met that lady on day one. She was pre-approved. I'm going to say day 3. By day 5, she found her house. Like, we found her house. I was sending her listings and stuff. We found her house. We went to go view that house on day 6. We closed on, say, day 27. It can literally happen that fast.
Wow. That's wild because I've never, the way you explain it, I've never known that. Like, I've never, like, it seems so daunting for me even a couple years ago, you know, and just from me talking to you the last couple of times we talked about real estate and buying homes and things like that, I feel a lot more confident.
You should. Yeah. You should. It's all about who you know. It really is. It's about who you know, who's patient with you, who's resourceful, and who can get you the results that you need. That's what it's all about. That's why and it's funny. I was going to say that's why you pay us the big bucks, but I primarily work with buyers. I consider myself a buyer's agent, right? A lot of people, they prefer to be listing agents and stuff like that. I don't know if you've paid attention to the market right now, but a lot of listings have been sitting on the market for a little time.
Yeah, I have. I peeped that.
You peeped that? I know, because you asked me something about does it lower the value? And how long it's been on the market, does that lower the value?
If a house has been on the market, and say for instance, I'm a seller, right?
Yeah.
I'm ready to sell my home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find no buyer. Mm-hmm. Does that take down the value of my home?
Do you do acting? Nah. The way you just said that, I felt that thing. I was like, oh, I can help you. I can get that also. The way that I work, buyers do not have to pay me for my services, right? Now, I expect to get paid at the closing table, trust and believe. But I try my hardest to get my buyer's brokerage fee or compensation paid from the seller. Mm. I get my fees paid from the seller and or the listing agent. So typically when you're putting your house up for sale, the onus is on the listing agent to share their compensation with the buyer's agent. So I want to kind of expound on that just a little bit, because I feel like we're in an industry now where people feel like they can just go to Zillow or go to Redfin or Realtor.com, find their own house, be their own representation. That is a bad idea, because if you're not in real estate, you don't have the real estate license, you've never done it before, you're just kind of spinning your wheels and you're going off of hearsay, and every single transaction is different. Trying to buy or sell a property without representation is like going into a courtroom with a court-appointed lawyer, or none at all. You know, and it's like, I'm sorry, but I'm not giving a court-appointed lawyer my future, my destiny, especially on the most expensive investment I'll ever make. I want somebody to know this stuff. Right. And I want somebody to be working solely on my behalf and not for the seller. Because that seller agent, that listing agent, is going to make sure that everything in that contract is benefiting that seller. Mm. You come up, you call the number on the for sale sign, you're like, hey, I want to buy that house. You know, can you represent me? They'll tell you yes. If they want that money, they'll tell you yes. And then that way they don't have to split their fee with the buyer's agent. However, you are going to get the short end of the stick, because you're not going to be able to negotiate with that agent, because her responsibility is to that seller. I just definitely wanted to respond to that. But as far as how long the properties has been on the market, does it decrease your value? The short answer is no, but it's a complicated no. It depends. It really depends on what's the word I want to use? The method to the madness of the seller and the selling agent. Because when you put a house on the market, there's about 3 or 4 different price points you can go with. You can either go with what the market is right now, what people are buying and selling in that area for that particular price point. If you wanted to sell now, you'll be right in that sweet spot. You know what I mean? Not $1 more. And it could fly off the shelf. If you're about to go into foreclosure, the homeowner, they're about to lose their house, they'll make it lower so that investors might want it. Traditional home buyers might want it. It could do a quick sale, a short sale, right? If you got time, I ain't really gotta leave. I don't really need to sell. I just want to see what I can get. You might go a little higher. You know what I'm saying? And then you might leave a little buffer room for somebody to negotiate that price down with you, or to pay for the buyer's seller's compensation, or if they got some repairs they need to do, they'll give you like $10,000 or something like that towards the repairs. So it really simply depends on the motive of the seller. But depending on how they price it, that determines how long it's going to sit on the market.
I want to get back to getting to know Thelma Cheeks, the realtor. Thelma Cheeks, the broker.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that. I'm a realtor and a broker.
Realtor and a broker.
Yes.
Realtor/broker.
Yes.
So what does the normal day look like for Thelma Cheeks?
So this can be a little complicated. I've been told I have ADHD. I've been told I'm all over the place, but there's a method to my madness. Right. It really is.
Always.
It has to be. So like I told you, hairstylist by trade. So I'm used to multitasking different things, right? Right now I work part-time for airline industry. And so I work there nights, and real estate is what I do during the day, in the morning, in the afternoon. So my schedule just recently changed. And so right now I wake up, get my coffee. That's numero uno. I get my coffee because I got to have it. And then I get dressed to work out. I'm trying to make myself a priority as far as what it is that I need. So I'm trying to eat 3 meals a day. I'm trying to work out consistently. And I also want to spend time, with my son, my kids, my family. And so I get up, get dressed for working out, take my son to school, come back home. I might work out. I might go to Planet Fitness and work out. And then I come home, take a shower. I get dressed. I go into my home office and I start trying to make a deal. I literally, every day, in real estate, every day, it's about you trying to make a deal. Like, nobody's going to feed you. Nobody's paying you an hourly rate. Nobody's calling and checking for you. You're an entrepreneur. So I literally have a list of things that I need to do throughout the day. I love making lists because I love watching myself check them off. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. So I write a list out. I do a couple hours of prospecting where I kind of do cold calling or warm calling where I check in with. Not
to cut you off. For the people that don't, because I know what that is, but what is cold calling and warm calling?
Yes. So cold calling is when so we have resources where we can kind of get a list of for sale by owners and or expired listings. So I'll go and I'll call these people and contact them, somewhat introduce myself and see if they're still interested in selling their house or if they're interested in allowing me, a realtor, to put their house back on the market or have an agreement. This one would be a seller brokerage agreement. So warm calling would be more or less like you've already had a connection with these people. You may even know them. They may be in your sphere, or they may have contacted you somewhere before. You've exchanged information. So now I'm following up with you. Now I'm calling you to see, hey, you ready to purchase yet? Or how's that credit score doing? Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? I would love to help them. And I call my past clients. I call clients that just kind of fell off because they couldn't, get their stuff together in order to purchase. And so that's the warm calling. And I also do marketing. I have time set aside to do my marketing for my business because as an entrepreneur, as a realtor, you are really, oh my God, you wear so many hats. It's ridiculous. So like I said, I've been known to have a little ADHD, but I think it goes well with being a realtor because there's so many different jobs and so many different avenues. Now, you can pay people to do some of that work for you, but hey, if you haven't had a closing or if you're not consistently bringing home those checks, you got to do it yourself.
That's a good realistic point. I think because you hear a lot of people say, I want to get into real estate. And it's like, what does that look like? So I'm glad that
you're ready.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you pointed that out because I think I want to go back to the cold calling and warm calling.
Yeah.
I think a good way for because you explained it well.
Thank you.
I think a good thing for people to remember with that would be cold calling would be you're trying to establish the relationship, basically. And warm calling would be like, okay, it's something already there.
Right.
You just kind of reiterate it. Is that a good description of that? Okay.
Yes. But the warm calling or the warm callers or people that have been warm called.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily a good relationship there that you've just met before.
Okay.
So you know how it is when you're dating. You might have met somebody before. She might have gave you that number, but she gonna ghost you.
Right.
Because she done figured out she don't want to work with you.
Right.
And unfortunately, she's not going to change her phone number. So, so we get hung up on a lot. We get hung up on. We get, I'll call you back. They never call us back. It's like a bill collector. You're like a bill collector a little bit.
I want to touch on that because I think there's a certain level of emotional intelligence that I think that you have to continue to push through that. So say for instance, let me give you a scenario. Say for instance, I'm a customer, right? We've talked on the phone a couple times. I've given you my credit score, my information and stuff like that. And then, like you said, I just ghost you. Like you call me, I ain't picking up no more. How does that take a toll on you? Or how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I don't take it personally. Okay. I think in the beginning, I've been doing real estate now for 5 years. I just made my 5-year mark September 7th.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And in the beginning, like especially the first year, I really used to take it personally. Like I'm gonna tell you what hurts me to my core, and I don't think people do it intentionally. I don't think they understand that this is how we breathe. Like this is how we eat. You get what I'm saying? Like nobody is paying us an hourly wage. Our broker is not paying us a monthly stipend. Like if we don't sell a house, we literally don't get paid. So that is why I hold down a second job because I need consistent income. I got big girl bills. But I said all that to say I used to take it personally. But then when I realized these people just aren't ready. They're just not mature enough to communicate to you that they're not ready or this is not a priority for them. Why are you taking that seriously? Like, move on to the next. Like, you cannot hold on to that. And so, but what I used to take personal, real personal, and it still hurts me to my core, y'all. When my family, my friends use a different agent, oh my God. Like, God is still working with me on that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm your friend. I'm your relative. Like, I want what's best for you. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, I would not steer you wrong. But there is some people who they'll go to a new construction and they like the community and they'll literally let that sales agent at that new construction community spearhead the whole deal, right? And then they'll come to me after the fact and say, oh, girl, I actually bought a house. We close next week or whatever like that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought I was helping you, figure out what you need to do to get your credit established. I thought you were working with my lender, like I called you. You didn't call me back. Why did you choose to go buy this property without using me? And to be honest, I think a lot of them don't realize that the builders, the sellers at the builders community work for the builder. I don't think people understand that. Like I told you about the courtroom and having a court-appointed lawyer versus your own, personal lawyer that's defending you. I don't think they understand that. And so it happens more than not in new construction communities because people usually they together with their spouse or whatever and they're riding around on a Sunday and they just kind of pop into a place. When those builders get you, honey, they make it seem like this the last house in here for sale.
I really wanted to touch on the emotional side of it too, because I think that's a part. We are human. We're not robots. So somebody else that may be aspiring to get into real estate or just in entrepreneurship period, I think that's good that you touched on the other side of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not all fun and games. Not at all. And people hurt your feelings every day. You just gotta kind of brush it off, not take it personally, and keep moving. Like every day is a new day, a new opportunity, and you always have to. I don't know. I hate to say you always have to be on, but really you do, because you never know when not passing out that business card or not having a conversation might be the time that you can help somebody. Because it's not always about just us. Like, I think sometimes people think we just want money, but you really have to be passionate to do what it is that we do. And I'm talking about all types of entrepreneurship. Like doing this interview right now, neither one of us is getting paid for this right now, but there's an opportunity there to help somebody. So you have to, like for me, it's a God thing. Like I feel like God has given me the patience. I hear it all the time. Like, girl, you got a lot of patience. You got a lot of patience. I think I probably have less patience or the least amount of patience when I'm dealing with my family, like my kids or something like that. But professionally, you just kind of have to, you can't take stuff personally. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a life lesson in itself.
For sure.
What are the pros and cons of buying now versus waiting? Like if I wanted to buy a home right now, and I said, hey, let me wait till I get this right or whatever. Like, are there pros and cons to that?
Some people think it is. I don't. I think it's always a good time to buy. I think buying now is better than waiting to buy later. Some pros about purchasing a property, I would say, if I'm just transparent with you, like some pros is it's like having money in the bank. So some people feel like they can't afford to do it right now. They don't have the extra funds, to put towards that goal and that aspiration. But I feel like it's like having money in the bank. So when you purchase a property, there's always going to be value there. Now, the value may go up and down depending on what the market is doing, depending on what the interest rates are doing, depending on how long you can afford to stay in that property. But I think it's always going to be money in the bank. It's an investment, right? And the cons would be the upfront costs that you have to put forward to purchasing a house, because it is going to cost you something. Whether you get down payment assistance or if you have 401k to help you purchase, for your down payment, whether you're doing a VA loan where it's 100% financing and you just have to pay for closing costs, it's going to cost you something. It's going to be some time put into it. It's going to be some emotional heartbreak, maybe if you think you found the perfect property and then it didn't go well and you didn't get that house. So there's going to be, you have to be mature when you get ready to look for a house and be open. That's going to be my favorite word right now. You got to be open to the possibilities and what may come and what may not come. But it's going to cost you something. You're going to have to get that debt paid off or up to date and current. You're going to have to pay down those credit cards. You're going to have to save. You're going to have to be diligent and consistent with that money, So it's some pain points with purchasing.
I like that you said that, though. I like that you said it's going to cost you something.
Yeah.
Because, and then I'm going to tie that into when you said it's always a good time to buy now.
Yes.
Because if you were looking to get things paid off, if you were looking to get a couple things together in the finance department, but getting ready to buy a home will put you on the right mission and the right path to do that.
Yeah.
Sure. So it would give you a mission to be like, okay, I'm getting this together because I'm doing this. So that's good that you say it's always a good time to buy now because you were going to get that stuff together anyway.
Yes. But it's crazy because I have worked with people that say, I'm not ready yet. I still got to work on my credit, or I'm not ready yet. I still got to get my finances together. And I'm like, do you really know what you need to do? And when I ask them that simple question, like to me, it's a simple answer. And a lot of times people try to dance around it and they try to make themselves seem more knowledgeable than what they are about purchasing a home. But it's like when you're getting ready to buy a house, what you need to do to be ready, credit-wise, money-wise, looks really different from what you need to be ready. Say, for instance, if you're about to put your kid through college, or if you're trying to move into another rental, or if you're about to have a baby. Like, it takes a little different type of program to be ready for those things. And a lot of times people say, oh, my credit score is this. Last time I checked on Credit Karma or Credit Sesame. Well, lenders looking at a different credit score. They're looking at all three credit bureaus, and they are taking an average of the three. They're looking at job history. Credit Karma is close if you got fairly good credit. It'll give you a good range. But when you're dealing with mortgage credit, we need to be a lot more specific. And a lot of times people don't tell you what you need to do to really fix the credit. All you thinking is, I need to pay all these debts down. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes lenders will tell you, don't even worry about this, and that. Focus on this, because it's so much when it comes to credit. I look at it like a game. It's a game. Your scores is going to do this all the time. But what you don't want is for it to tank. You want it to stay about the same level. You get what I'm saying? So they're going to help you get it where it needs to be to purchase the property. And believe it or not, once you buy a property, your credit score goes through the roof. After you buy a house, they're begging you to get a credit card. They're begging you to get this credit card. They're begging you to get this loan. They're begging you to get this card. They're literally trying to throw money at you.
I did not know that. Okay. So, I am a veteran.
Thank you for your service.
No problem. Are there home buying programs for veterans?
Absolutely. Veterans actually have the best home buying opportunities. They have no down payment. So as a veteran, you can get 100% financing. So you don't have to worry about coming up with 10% down, 5% down, 3%, any of that. You literally, the whole loan is 100% financed. And usually you only have to come up with closing costs. And the closing cost is at a certain level for veterans. Like, it's not gonna really break the bank per se. So you definitely, as a veteran, you have great opportunities. It's all kind of home buying programs, but that one to me is the best.
So when closing costs, for somebody that's not really privy to the real estate and home buying, is there really a difference between the closing costs and the interest? Like, obviously closing costs is the money that you pay during closing time. But when you say it's not going to really break the bank for a veteran, like what's an example of closing costs?
Okay, so it really all depends on the price of the house. Right. Remember, I told you there's nothing black and white. We really say there's a lot of gray area, and everything depends. So it depends on the price of the house, but closing costs is essentially what you pay the lenders to actually process the loan. Is also paying for your taxes and your homeowner's insurance to go into an escrow account. An escrow account is basically an additional savings to prepare for your yearly taxes, your yearly homeowner's insurance. So you have to put like 3 to 6 months worth of reserves into an escrow account for them to start that savings up for you. And you also have to have homeowners insurance, of course. So your mortgage company will pay your taxes and your insurance every year from the funds that you've attributed to the escrow account. So when you're paying for your closing costs, you're paying for the lender and all of their fees. You're paying for, and then if you're the seller, of course, you're paying for the listing agent's compensation as well. And then in some rare cases, if the buyer's agent fees was not covered with that share from the listing agent's fees, you're paying some of that as a buyer. So buyers and sellers have a different set of closing costs, right? So as a buyer, you're paying for your taxes, your insurance, for you taking possession of the property moving forward from that date. The seller is paying for the things that they needed to take care of before that closing date, everything before that date began earlier that year. So they're making sure that, the attorneys is making sure that everything is balanced. So you also have to pay the attorney's fees for processing the closing. So closing costs is not nearly as much as your down payment.
Okay.
So like I said, with you being like a veteran, because you don't have down payment, you're paying a fraction of what it would cost a normal buyer who's not a veteran, who's doing like a FHA loan or a conventional loan. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So for my veterans out there, you know, all hope isn't lost. For those that weren't aware of VA programs and the benefits, make sure y'all hit up Thelma Cheeks here, Realtor / broker. You know what I'm saying?
Very, very beneficial. There's another program that's very similar to that, USDA loans, but you have to be in a designated rural area, like in an area in which they're trying to build up. So you really wouldn't benefit like being in a place like Atlanta, because we're pretty metropolitan, right? It's pretty city-like or whatever. So you have to go further outskirts, like Villa Rica, or maybe some places like Douglasville, or some places down in Hampton or McDonough, like that. Like the further you are away from the metropolitan city, you can benefit from USDA loans, and they work similarly to veteran loans because it's 100% financing. And then you got your FHA loans, which you know it's a government funded loan, so that's 3.5% down. Then you have conventional loans, which for those people with A1 credit, they're usually the ones that are getting the conventional loans. And they have some 0% down conventional loans, and they have some that they put 3% down. They have some that they put 5% down. But you can pretty much put down however much you want to. But of course, the lender is going to have a set fee that you may require depending on, or that they may require depending on your credit score.
Okay. Nice. You said that eloquently. I want to touch on people that want to do, they want to sell real estate and get into the investment, fix and flip type of real estate. You know, real quick, you ain't got to, you know, you don't have to expound too much on it, but what's the different ways, if you can list, what's the different ways that people can make money from
real estate?
selling real estate and things like that?
Oof. Okay. There's quite a few different ways. I am just now trying to get into the investing side. Like for me, it's always been a personal property type of investment. For a short stint, I did lease out some property that I had, so I was a landlord.
Okay.
But you could do, like you said, fix and flips, where you're taking a property that needs some love and you're fixing it up and you're gonna put it back on the market, and you put it up back on the market for a higher rate. If you're not gonna occupy the property though, you have to put more money down. Yeah, so like if it's not going to be owner occupied, it's considered an investment property. So they typically want you to put anywhere between 10 to 20% down, depending on your credit. You can use a hard money loan for those type of products. You can do a 203K FHA loan. I think it's a 203K FHA loan where they can factor in the repair costs with your loan amount. So that's a creative way to do things. As a first-time home buyer, you can even buy a duplex or a triplex or a quad and only put down 3.5% and do an FHA if you occupy one of the units. So that's to me, that's the best way for somebody that's just getting started with it, because you can kind of live in one unit, rent out the other units, and pay for the whole building. And then while you're living in that one unit, you can be fixing that unit up if you like. And then when that other tenant move out from, say, unit B, you can move over into unit B and put unit A back on the market for a higher rate, because now you fixed it up, you know. So, and you can use a VA loan for that too. I see your brain churning.
Yeah, it really is. I'm thinking, man.
Yes. So, and then there is a newer way. You know, everybody is used to Airbnbs, but a lot of cities are trying to stop Airbnbs. They're trying to combat against that, which I don't know how successful they'll be, but they're giving a lot of restrictions against Airbnbs now. So one thing that I noticed is becoming more popular here in the city and in big cities is house hacking. So with house hacking, you will buy, say, a property for your own personal self. You would occupy one of the rooms and then lease out other rooms within that house. And you can lease them out to singles, you know, who don't have children, or couples if you want, and charge them anywhere between $800 to $1,500 a month for each room. And you're gonna get more money doing it that way than you would if you rented it out to a whole family and get $1,500 for the whole house. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want you to give too much info because Thelma here, she does have consultation fees and things like that.
I don't. No.
Oh, excuse me. I stand corrected.
Discovery calls are totally free. My services, I get paid at closing. So I don't charge any upfront fees. I don't charge any retaining fees as of yet. But once my time gets to a place where I can't afford to give out all of this free knowledge and free time, there will be some changes. But for right now, it's a free service.
That's love, man. See, man, you got quite a few of our people out here. Thelma being one of them that are really out here wanting to make a difference and making a difference. Because we talked offline and you told me about quite a few people that you've got put in homes.
So absolutely. I've helped over 50 families. Actually, it's probably close to 60 now because I've helped quite a few via referrals as well. Some decided to sell and then lease. Some decided that they wanted to lease only. But yeah, quite a few families, and it's only been 5 years.
Wow, that's what's up. How does it feel being a Black woman in real estate?
It's tough being a Black woman, period.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, I feel like we have to show and prove all the time. Like, there's a certain level of respect that people have on us just from the first encounter, right? And then when you get to talking, you have to be careful depending on who you speak to, on how confident you can be, because some people are intimidated when you are too confident. And then you have to make sure that you know what you're talking about, you speak eloquently, and that you are not giving them false information, because the minute you tell them something contrary to what they've heard, then now you're not being truthful. Right. You can't be too strong because men are intimidated because they want to run the ship. So it's difficult being a Black woman, and let's just say women, period, in this type of business, because I do feel like it's a male dominated business, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of men in this industry. But I think that the men don't have to work nearly as hard as the women work. Like, we're literally taking care of households. We're coming home. We're cooking dinner. We're getting up early to go to the gym, because for some reason I feel like it's more of you gotta look the part for women. We gotta keep working out. We gotta get the hair done. Are you gonna wear the weave? Are you like, the braids aren't acceptable? Don't do the braids. Like, it's so many things. Wearing the makeup and stuff, and it's honestly, it's quite ridiculous. It needs to stop, because as long as you know what you're talking about,
right,
and you can get the job done, all of that other stuff is so superficial.
Right.
It's so superficial. So it can be taxing. Yeah, that's why I was telling you the day in my life, I make sure that, coffee first, but I'm working out after that, just so I can get my mind right. It's not so much to be physically fit for somebody else. It's more or less to get my mind right. Make sure my body is moving properly. Make sure I'm taking care of me and giving myself that center time. I also am God-fearing. I'm a Christian. I go to church. I read my Bible. But I try to get everything that I need in the beginning of the day, because the world gonna take.
Right. I feel the same way. I feel the same
all day long.
I got my rising routine as well.
Yeah. I just want to kind of reiterate some things. Buying now versus later. Marry the house, date the interest rate. Definitely wanted to talk about that. Marry the house, date the interest rate. Get you a trusted realtor. I'm available. Realtor at Realtor Thelma Cheeks on Instagram and Facebook. I'm available. I would love to chat with you and help coach you through it. This is what I'm passionate about. I am passionate about, helping my people gain wealth through real estate. I always say, gain purchasing power to buy back the block. because there's so many people out here, so many companies coming in, buying our properties. They see the value in owning their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? But where we are in our communities, people look at it as an option. It's really not an option. It's like you need to own your own stuff. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur or if you have a family, if you're a single individual, you need to own that business, the land that business lives on. It's not enough to just have the LLC. You need to own that land because it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's money in the bank. It is. And once we get on that level, the sky is the limit. I told you, they throw money at you once you start owning stuff. You know, you have more say so with the politics, the government laws on what they're going to do for the city, for the county.
Right.
You have more stake in that when you own your own stuff.
I got to see that. Yeah.
It is what it is, and you learn so much.
So we have to search for the knowledge. Make sure the person that's giving the knowledge or where we're getting the knowledge from is credible, and implementing the knowledge. Because long time ago, well, not a long time ago, 2 years ago, a brother told me confidence breeds confidence. And it always rang in my mind every time I'm searching for information. So I think what you're saying is right on point.
Yes.
It is money in the bank.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. And you got to get it sometimes outside of YouTube as well. Yeah. Outside of YouTube,
sure.
Outside of AI knowledge, outside of Google.
ChatGPT.
Oh my God. When I tell you, Google will tell you whatever you need to know. If you type that question in right and you type it in as many times as you need to, you're going to find the answer you're looking for or what you're not looking for. It just gives you so much. And with real estate, honestly, each transaction is so different. Each person's needs are so different. Like, my financial story is different from your financial story. Somebody else, their interest rate is going to be different from your interest rate. Somebody's buying power is going to be different from mine. So you really have to get you a team. And it's a project, right? We're a team. We're a team working for the same common goal. And that's to get you owning whatever that is you want to own. So you have to be able to trust that lender, trust that agent, and work together for the common good. Like, you have to trust the process. And if you don't, ask questions. We don't know what you don't know. I've had so many deals, I haven't had a lot of deals fall apart. Let me be clear. Let me rewind that.
Talk your shit.
I know of so many deals that have fell apart because people say, oh, well, they wasn't giving me what I need. Did you express what you needed?
That's simple.
Did you tell them what you were missing? Did you ask that question? Or did you just go to your friend down the street who bought a house last year in a totally different market and try to lean on what they were telling you from their story and their situation? It's totally different. Different times, right. It's different experiences, different people have different options. So different. But you have to communicate.
Right. Let go of their pride, let go of their ego, because the more you get uncomfortable, a lot of times the more you learn.
Absolutely.
It's uncomfortable divulging all this information, but do you want to stay in the place that you were, or do you want to grow?
Exactly.
Because like you said, it's different things that we do in life anyway. So why should your house buying be different? Or why should real estate be different?
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. That you're helping our people with that for real.
Thank you.
Because it's not easy.
No.
I'm not a realtor or broker. That's why you on Coded Black, so that I can learn some stuff too. It ain't just for the people, it's for me to learn too.
Yeah, and it changes every day. It changes every week. It changes every month, every year. So just because you've been doing it for 20 some odd years don't mean you're the best agent for me either. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm younger. I'm doing it a different way. My goal is different from your goal that you had 20 years ago when you purchased your house. Like, I always try to put myself in those people's shoes, like, what is it that you need out of this transaction? What is your ultimate goal? And I have to think like they would think and ask the questions they don't even know they should ask.
For sure. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on to the Coded Black show. You are officially a part of the Coded Black family. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what y'all do, but you know what I'm saying? Power to the people.
Power to the people. Hey, that's what it's about, for sure. Let's transition into some quick joints. Who inspires you in life?
Who inspires me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you can name top 3 people that inspire you.
That wasn't part of the questions you asked me before.
Yeah, quick joints.
On my cheat list. Oh, that's a good one. Oh.
It could be celebrities, it could be family members, it could be a friend, spouse.
Who inspires me?
Kids.
I got so many people that inspire me. Okay, so my favorite actor of all time is Will Smith. I absolutely love Will Smith. I think that man is phenomenal. Like, he never seems to be having a bad day. Like, he has some situations that happen with him or whatever, but I feel like he always powers through. Like, you always see that man smiling. I also feel like he's true to his feelings now too. Like, he's grown and matured a lot lately. Like, he will cry, he will laugh, he will bare his soul. I have much respect for Will Smith, and I think he's absolutely phenomenal. Like, very, very talented. Absolutely love Michelle Obama. Her and Barack, love them. My pastor, LeBrian Friend at Long Church here in Atlanta, Georgia, he's amazing. Him and his wife is so funny. Like, absolutely love them. But yeah, that's just to name a few.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, superpower. I
want to be one.
I want to be teleported to my destinations.
Destinations being what? Like on
whatever the hell I'm going.
Oh, you talking about if you want to go somewhere?
Actual placement.
Okay.
Like when I leave here, I don't want to be in Atlanta traffic, y'all. I want to be teleported into my house. Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Last quick joint is Thelma Cheeks' favorite artist of all time.
Ooh. Musically?
Now, they say your favorite artist tell you a lot about a person. Nah.
I gotta give you an R&B and I gotta give you a rap.
Okay, that's cool.
But I love gospel music too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta give you 3. I can't name one.
So three genres.
Yeah, 3 different genres. So if I was to go to rap, T.I. Absolutely love T.I. Tip for sure. Cause yeah, I love Jesus and trap music.
Hey. Who said the duality is the thing? You know what I'm saying?
So T.I. As far as R&B, Usher. Okay. And
some heavy hitters. Okay.
Yeah, and then as far as gospel music, Fred Hammond.
That's a strong one.
I know, and it's all men. Notice it's all men.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I got some women too, but the men are my absolute favorite.
Okay, that's what's up. Where can the people find you on social media?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm on all the social media platforms, but primarily Facebook and Instagram at Realtor Thelma Cheeks. Okay. And you can call me. I have a specific cell phone number for business, 678-303-6018. That is my personal business number. Give me a call, shoot me a text. My email address is cheeksrealtygroup@gmail.com. I do answer and respond to all emails.
This was dope. You all know what to do. I know y'all rock with this interview. I know y'all rock with the information. Man, if you rock with it, hit the like button. You know what I mean? It's too easy, man.
Yes.
You know, and if you really rocking with the channel, hit the subscribe button. As this is Code of Black Season 3. You already know the goal is to educate, inspire, and enlighten. And always remember, winners make adjustments. Again, I'm Commotion.
And I'm Realtor Thelma Cheeks.
And we out of here.
Peace.
Where did you hear that? Where did you hear that? Where you hear that? Where did you hear that? Where did you hear that?